Hello YouTube, Kaitlyn here, and do you know how to survive the holidays if you have a mental illness? Depression, anxiety, OCD, bipolar disorder, these are just a few of the mental illnesses that are out there that you might be dealing with, but they all make it difficult for you to have fun and enjoy time with friends and family and feel celebratory during the holidays. So how do you survive all these holiday events and, dare I say, even have fun? Number one, take it slow. Don't overwhelm yourself with saying yes to events and obligations this time of year. I know for me, especially when I was in college, I would get invited to all these different events and I would feel like I had to go to every single one of them, but I just couldn't. Like, I'm just not made to go to like 3 parties in one day and more stuff the next day. That's just not who I am. And because I was struggling with depression, it made it even more difficult because I just didn't want to do anything. Didn't see that there was an in-between of picking and choosing what I could and couldn't do. So that's what I would say to you. Don't feel like you have to do everything in order to seem like a normal functioning person. If you're trying to pretend that everything is hunky-dory, it's not. It's not okay right now. You are suffering with an illness, which is why tip number 2 is really good, because it's to confide in a friend or family member what you're going through, and they can help be an advocate for you. It's really great to feel like you have someone on your team, because while it's awesome for you to be able to tell everyone in your family or your whole friend group what you're going through, you may just not feel ready to do that yet, because there is a big stigma of mental illness in society today. So if you're not ready to tell everybody, then talk to 1 or 2 people who can kind of help make sure that you're having fun, that you're feeling okay and safe in the situations that you're in throughout the holidays. Number 3, invest your time in traditions. And this might mean doing old traditions or starting new ones if things are new or different for you in whatever situation you're in now. There is nothing more depressing than coming up on your first holiday after something really tragic has happened in your life or your family, like someone in your family has died, or maybe your parents were divorced, or just anything that kind of changes the way your typical traditions have been happening throughout the years. Many people look forward to the holidays because it is a time of tradition and they find a lot of joy in those traditions. But when those traditions are no longer as tradition-y, it just is really sad and can sometimes aggravate your mental illness. So I would suggest that instead of dwelling on the things that are different or the things that have changed and are just not as seemingly fun anymore, is to make a new tradition. My grandfather was diagnosed with cancer and got really sick. We could no longer have really Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day. No one felt up to cooking a big meal or anything like that. So we started going to Red Lobster on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and, eating seafood and cheesy biscuits, and it was different, but it's something that even after he died, we continued doing because it felt like a way for our family to come together. So it might not seem like the normal thing you would do on Thanksgiving, but it's really important to us. And it's a way of us celebrating his memory too. Tip number 4, and this one is really hard to do for young people like me who are in college or out of college, is to not feel like you have to have the most impressive story to tell your family when you come home. Your family's gonna ask what you're doing with your life and what are your plans when you graduate college, or what are your plans for the next year? Do you plan on marrying your boyfriend? All of these questions, and when you have a mental illness, and even when you're just a normal person, you don't want to answer them. You're just like, I don't know the answers to any of these things. And then you've got a cousin over in the corner who's like, I'm saving the seals and everything is great and perfect for me and I'm getting married in 2 months and just look how awesome my life is. And you're just like, oh, my life is awful. I hate that part of the holidays. And there's nothing you can really do to make it better other than to just let it go and not stress about it, because it's not a competition. And a lot of times when people ask you these questions, if they don't know that you have a mental illness, or they don't know that you're going through something and struggling, then you feel like, well, I can't say that this big thing that I'm dealing with right now is figuring out that I have a mental illness and getting it diagnosed and getting on medication or going to a therapist. You don't feel like those are actually like real accomplishments to maybe your family member, but in your life they actually are. And number 5, don't just hole up somewhere and be alone. The holidays are about coming together with other people and enjoying one another's company and fellowshipping. And when you're dealing with a mental illness, a lot of times you don't feel like doing those things, or maybe you're far away from your family and can't come home, or you don't feel like you have any friends where you are. But I can promise you that there's always going to be someone who will enjoy having your company during this time. So even if you can't make it home or your friends are far away, ask someone if you can come home with them for Christmas, who's maybe a little more close by, or go volunteer at a food bank or a homeless shelter, just anything to get you out there connecting with other people during this time, because that's really important when you have a mental illness, is to just not, kind of go in and be alone and that's not healthy anytime, but it's even worse this time of year because everyone else is already going out and connecting with other people, and you feel double worse when you can't do that, or you feel like you can't do that. So get out there, connect with people. I know that it's hard, but just sign that little volunteer sheet and show up when you're supposed to, and they will use you and they will be so grateful for you, and you will make friends. Also, a note for those of you who may not have a mental illness but know someone who does, it's really important for you to listen to those people that have a mental illness. They need someone this time of year, but actually really like the whole year long, but especially now, to be caring and to be listening and to kind of make sure that they're included in everything. So this is kind of your PSA to know, to help these people in your life. So what do you think? I want to know what your holiday fears are, especially if you have a mental illness, because this time of year is definitely a time for anxiety and stress for us. So what is it that's, causing you that stress and anxiety? What are you worried is going to go wrong when you see family or friends? Tell me down in the comments, and remember to like, favorite, share, and subscribe if this video made you smile. See you guys next Thursday. Also, this is the beginning of our holiday extravaganza. You know me, I like making Christmas holiday themed videos the whole month of December, so we're starting now, yes!